My name is O.Karakul. My presentation is about searching interplay of art, craft, and space on contemporary designs as a way for the conservation of intangible heritage. In the 20th century, following the industrialization period, the development of new building technologies generated the broad discussions focusing on standardization and uniformization in architecture, as in all other disciplines, together with the concern about the loss of cultural diversities. By destroying the relationship for architecture with its local context, local culture, craft, and art, and introducing standardization in architecture has created an increase on the number of buildings which can be constructed anywhere, which have minimum and general architectural qualities addressing all kinds of users. The conservation of traditional craftsmanship as a part of intangible cultural heritage can only be possible providing their transmission from generation to generation and the continuity of productions made by practitioner craftsmanship. The end of traditional building production restricts the living areas of crafts and their livability into the restoration processes of historic buildings. The decrease in demand, causing the decrease in the number of practitioners, craftsmen, brings forward the necessity of regenerating the organic relationship of crafts with architecture for their conservation. In this respect, the searching for the ways of the sustainability of craft and architecture, integrity in new buildings and contemporary designs is vital. This paper aims to discuss the sustainability of art and crafts through contemporary designs by presenting a process of an interior design studio focusing on designing specific ateliers for various artists and craftsmen in Selçuk University. An approach on the integration of art, craft, and architecture, a literature research on art, craft, and architecture relationships, crafts as intangible heritage and their conservation and sustainability, a comparative analysis of various design solutions embodying the spatial reflections of art and craft through the student projects, and their evaluation to determine certain sustainable aspects of art and craft on space mainly outlines the program of the presentations. The studio projects in the spring semester of the 2016-2017 academic year in the Department of Interior Architecture in Selçuk University addresses to solve the problem of designing workshop houses for the artists and craftsmen dealing with variety of the branches of art and craft, provide for students understanding the mutual and the holistic relationship between art, craft, and space. The studio discussions mainly focused on the working and living processes of artists and craftsmanship with their spatial necessities like architectural elements and furniture and the spatial aspect of art and craft productions. Aim of the study arising from the approach on the integration of art, craft, and architecture, this presentation presents the student projects on artists and craftsmen ateliers carried out in the Department of Interior Architecture in Selçuk University. First, I will mention about the history of the relationship between craft, art, and architecture. Craft is a term used for all handmade production before industrial period. On the Middle Age, there is not any difference between art and craft. Artist and craftsman has same status. Discrimination between art and crafts starts during the Renaissance period. In this period, art activities were evaluated in two categories as art and craft. In this period, artist was accepted as a creator, and craftsman was accepted as only implementer. I will also explain about some reactions to difference between art and craft throughout the world. First, arts and crafts movement developed by William Morris. In this movement, artists and craftsmen are bringing together, and main idea is the active participation in industrial design. Then another movement, Art Nouveau, counter to industrialization, was developed. In it, the integration of arts and craft with architecture is a significant thing. After that, De Stijl in Holland, 1918, and Bauhaus in Germany, 1919, Wuchtemest in Russia, 1920. All these movements, architecture was accepted as a discipline comprising all art and craft branches. And they assert cooperation of artists and craftsmen, and architecture is a discipline, a whole, comprising from interior design to the environmental design. In Anatolia, craft and architecture relationships, we can mention an organization called Ehli Hireft in Ottoman period. This organization includes all design and crafts activities determining our art and design styles. The architect Sinan is a member of this organization, which constitutes a base for Hassa Architects Organization. 16th century classical Ottoman architecture, a synthesis of Ehli Hiref and Hassa Architects Organization. Architectural projects in this period are carried out in Hassa, interior design, decorative arts, furniture design, and detail design in Ehli Hiref. Here I will start the projects, student projects. Main theme is the Utopias for Ateliers, Artist and Craftsman Atelier Houses. In Selçuk University, Department of Interior Architecture and Environmental Design in 2017. Integration of art and craft with space was the main theme. Through the projects, several themes. Organization of living and working spaces according to the branch of art and craft, living styles of artists and craftsmen, working processes, spatial needs, architectural elements and furniture, spatial aspects of art and craft production need to be understood and used by students to design their atelier houses. Through the projects, students are expected to use modular design approach to produce the architectural of the houses. In this approach, a geometrical form is used to design both mass relations and interior of spaces. Basic geometrical units used are expected to be reflected over the facade organization and the design of spaces and furniture. Works of artists and craftsmen are intended to be reflected over building elements, spaces, and furniture designed directly or by construing. Process of studio includes a four-stage work program. First, a literature research was made by students, and the determination of art and craft branch to be worked, and the preparation of functional program of atelier houses, the formation and conceptual approaches and design. Here is the first project is designed for a glazed tile craftsman by Sümeyra Demir. Here you see two-story buildings and workspaces is seen in the ground floor, and the living spaces place upper floor, and living spaces interrelate the entrance spaces and exhibition space visually on gallery spaces. You see there are many products made by craftsmen on glass tile. Here in the gallery spaces there is a vase, and on the walls certain products, and also on the floors ground. Here is also the same building, and detail from the interior spaces, and on the ground floor glass tile production you see. This project is for Hattat artist, Hattat and label artist. You see the module of the projects on the left, and plans on the left, and sections, and some three-dimensional model. You see the labeling artist on the facade, and in the walls of the buildings there are many products designed by this artist. Here is the labeling writing on the walls of the products of this artist, and you see also a gallery space and living space interrelate with the visually. Here is a atelier house for musician and artist. Also on the left you see the general conceptual approach of the designer of Burak Emre Yazıcı. He used the structural stem module and designed the spaces, and rhythm of the music he tried to reflect on the buildings on the structural stem, exaggerated, and also on the middle a two-story buildings, simple buildings contracting the other parts of the building. Here is the detail of the building, and you see the living spaces of the atelier houses on the right. It is a photography artist atelier houses. You see the many photography reflected on the walls of the gallery spaces, on the exhibition spaces, on the floor ground. You see also same organization in the ground floor. There's a working space on upper floor, living space. Here is the detail of the exhibition. Here is another artist atelier houses you see, and detail of the exhibition space and gallery spaces, and many artistic products of these artists placed on the walls, and another organization design on the wall of the exhibition spaces with the library and the painting. Here is a wood craftsman atelier houses configured a more different geometrical model, circle model in different sizes you see, and on the projects mushroom column as structural system, and on various heights of the this space carried mushroom columns determining on the facade organization and mesh organizations, and all structural system elements and architectural elements from timber. Here is another artist atelier houses and the same organization, and a painting of these artists placed on the two-story wall of the exhibition space you see. Here is a sculpture atelier houses. There is two-story spaces. One is the atelier and gallery spaces, and many sculptures placed on the space. Here's the detail of the atelier spaces. Here is another sculpture atelier houses you see, and a photography artist atelier houses.